Alright, I'm here with another whiskey. This one here is the Glen Scotia 10 Campbeltown single malt Scotch whiskey. 10 years old. It says classic Campbeltown malt, matured in first fill bourbon barrels. Oh, that's my style, definitely. There are distiller note here, but I'm not going to read that. It's distilled, matured and bottled in Scotland. It's 40% ABV. So we're talking entry-level Glen Scotia here. I've never had an entry-level. I've had Victoriana, and I've had a couple other expressions, but I've never had this one. I think this is maybe a new thing. I don't know. I'm going to let you know how much it set me back. And it says here, Glen Scotia, $79.99, so $80. So we're talking $12 in taxes. So 92 and a bit with the bottle deposit. So 92.09, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's entry-level Glen Scotia for you. And I'm gonna take the bottle out here, give you a look at it. It's the Glen Scotia 10, nice, very plain green label, and a bunch of writing on the back. It's probably similar to the writing that's here on the box. I'm going to let you know what that says right now. Campbeltown single malt Scotch whiskey, aged 10 years. One of the officially recognized and protected whiskey regions in Scotland, this small town on the Kintyre Peninsula West Coast was once home to over 30 distilleries, and with a distillery on every corner. It was known as the Victorian whiskey capital of the world. Only a few distilleries endured and survived to the present day, and Glen Scotia stands proudly among the last of the many. Classic Campbeltown malt. Glen Scotia 10-year-old is a perfect example of the distillery character and its coastal location. Matured in 100% first fill bourbon barrels. On the nose there, okay. I'm not reading that. I'm going to tell you what I get. Even though what I get might differ from what it says here. Oh, Glen Scotia 10. Ah, there's the French version right here of what was on the box. Here. Okay, that's cool. That will have a prominent place on the wall somewhere. Okay, we got our little V-shaped thing here. And we just pulled the foil right off. Top comes off. Cork. Another one of these composite corks. Sawdust and glue. And we got our 2015 Victoria Whiskey Festival glass. Yep. Okay, so there's our Glen Scotia Campbeltown single malt. Let's give it a try here. I haven't had that much Campbeltown lately, but when I saw this at the Summer Spirit Festival, that's the BC Liquor Store Summer Spirit Festival, I had to jump for it. I had to grab it. Oh, tiny little droplets, just making their way down trails with tiny droplets. Okay. Get caramel. And there's a little bit of a funky, definitely first fill bourbon. A little bit of cherry, a little bit of caramel, vanilla. And then there's that funky warehouse Dunnage Warehouse note. It's a little bit farmy. Earthy is the word. So we've got the earthiness from the warehouse. We've got a strong first fill bourbon barrel influence. Tiny little bit cheesy too. Smells a little bit like cheese. Could that be the distillery character? Could that be the new make speaking? So we got all kinds of influences here. This is a lot like another ex bourbon barrel whiskey single malt, but there is that funkiness from that funkiness that you'd expect from a Glen Scotia. Now I'm getting some apples and pears as I delve a little deeper. So it's got some fruitiness. I'm trying to get beyond the first fill bourbon barrels. But they reassert themselves every time I get some apples and pears. It's a little bit spicy too, on the nose anyway. We'll see what we get on the palate. Let me cleanse that palate just a tiny little bit. Okay, here we go. Oh, wow. Very much first fill ex-bourbon. I'm even getting a little bit of a mintiness from the rye component of that ex-bourbon barrel. Apples, pears, and it's spicy. It's spicy. I don't think it needs any water. I'm going to try again. Have a second sip. Oh. Apples, pears, spicy, minty, spicy, minty, apples and pears, but it's covered up by the spicy and minty. And the spicy and minty, would that be from the rye in the bourbon? Would it be a hint of cherry, just a hint of cherry, along with the apples and pears? More apple than pear though. Hint of cherry, spicy, white pepper, cracked black pepper even. Oh. This is much more interesting and complex than I gave it, than I guessed that it would be. it easily, of the 40% ABV single malts, this one has, I would hazard to say, this has even more going on in it than Cragganmore. What's the age of the Cragganmore? Is it 10 or 12? Anyway, it's got a lot more spices than Cragganmore. I'd say it's equally good, maybe a little better than Cragganmore. If you like spicy, if you like minty, if you like some Dunnage Warehouse funkiness in your 40% ABV and don't mind spending $92 for it, Canadian that is, this may be the one. Now the question is, how much of this came into the province of British Columbia? I don't know if I haven't seen it on shelves since the Summer Spirit release. Maybe it was a one-off Summer Spirit release. Here you go, and maybe we won't see it again in the near future. I will keep my eyes peeled for the shelves to see if there's any more of this around, because it's a little bit, how can I say, it's a little bit pointy. It's a little bit, I think it maybe needs to mellow out a little bit with time. But what I'm going to try is adding just a little bit of water and see what that does to it. There we go. That's about 2 or 3 official drops. Ooh, over enthusiastic there. Look, I spilt some on my shirt. Oh well, that's what happens when you make videos. This will dry up. Okay. This took some of the sharpness away. Water took some of the sharpness away, but it still has that spiciness. And it still has that apple and pear. And I'm even getting white pepper on the nose. Funkiness, Dunnage Warehouse, earthy. Oh, lots more white pepper, quite a bit more spicy, more fruity too, with the addition of a bit of water. Interesting, interesting, spicy, fruity. Yeah. And not a hint of dark dried fruits anywhere. Light dried fruits, perhaps. A little bit of dried pineapple, perhaps. And now it's changing with the water. I'm even getting some tropical fruits like coconut. Oh, this one's got a lot going on. And spicy. And earthy. And yeah, I like this. I will give it time because it's a bit edgy. Like I said, it's a bit pointy, a little bit edgy. It maybe needs to round out a little bit, and maybe time in the bottle will give it that opportunity to get a little more rounded. However, it's not bad. Not at all bad. This shows a lot of promise. It's not one of those boring 40% ABV single malts. And if this is entry level Glen Scotia, my gosh. It's a spicy, funky, fruity, peppery winner. Sluncheva.
Food Quig.
Food quick.
Food quick.
Food Quig.
Food quick.
Yeah.